Well, guten morning. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. I am the holder of the infinite ball game that was created and given to me by the Hero Twins. I'm your galactic daddy-o, and I'm welcoming everybody on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And tonight our special sponsor is Drakkar for the man who has nothing. And tonight we are bringing back again Michigan's favorite beer, Founders Porter, with hints of dark, rich aroma. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. No, beer glasses used to look like this. Pint glasses is more of a Great Britain kind of deal. And of course, we are smoking on the Hamilton device. Can't beat it. I guess it's several beefs. Oh, let me see who's in and see what's happening to everybody. Hey, Strong Discernment. Thank you for joining. Hands all wet and shit. Your beer is very cold. Strong Discernment. Anise, thank you for joining me. Yeah, well, it also clears away energy, CWE. It also clears away energies. Oh, your profile picture. Interesting. Okay. Oh, and Mr. Lamborghini, you checking in. Well, thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. Valerie, what is happening? Valerie, did you hear that boom last night? About 6 a.m, they said it was thunder, but my friend living 20 miles away, he said he heard it too. It sounded like an explosion more than thunder. It seriously sounded like something exploded. And they say that no one said anything. Hey, Reese, thank you for joining. Yeah, I just got done with a Canadian football game. And let me tell you what they did, and you guys can check this out. So the Canadian football team is down to maybe 4 or 8 teams. It's been around longer than the NFL, but it's pretty much dying out. Without some help, they're going to die out. But anyway, there was a team called Edmonton Eskimos, and this is the team that Warren Moon. Again, they've been Eskimos since the probably late 1800s. So with the sensitive, and they changed the name to the Edmonton Elks. But what's interesting and how dirty they do, and it's sigil like, is they put the E in the elk. So you guys can look this up. They have now, their old helmet said EE, Edmonton Eskimos. The new helmet has like an elk, but if you look at the elk antler, it ain't nothing but an E. And so they made it sigil like because of that. So it's just like, okay, you still kept it, but the way you kept it, you put a little stuff on there. So you can check that out. Oh, Dobie, did you watch The Wire? Yeah, when it came out, I never rewatched it. I watched it like Stringer and all them when it came out. When Michael P. Jordan, he ended up getting killed, or Michael B. Jordan, excuse me. So I watched it to a certain point. It made the cops look really good. I watched it to a certain point though. Hey, your man went off in the game tonight. Brittany Griner, 30 points. Yeah, I saw that too. That's why I was watching the men's volleyball. France against somebody, maybe the Czech Republic or something. ROC, Republic of Czech. I don't know. But that's who they played. No, or Russia. Was it? No, it wasn't Russia. Well, maybe it was Russia, whatever they're calling it. But yeah, I saw Brittany. Brittany is a woman that took men hormones to be a dominant basketball player. I think Brittany is a prime example of Title IX. Brittany, remember, Brittany's paying child support for a baby. And it ain't just because she married another woman. That's Brittany's baby. So I've said this before, Title IX paved the way for that. And what we have parents that your little boys couldn't make it, but they saw that they could let the girls make it. They could play with girls and the girls could make it. And that's what we're seeing. Please tell me you watched the relay, the last one featuring Allison. They went off. I watched the replay. A&T, two A&T dudes won gold. I think I talked about that last night, though. Two of A&T dudes won gold in the 4x4, the 4x400. Yeah. 22 doubted team 92. The white chick, number 10, was getting jealous of Brittany getting the shine. Like Sue Bird, again, she's balding. And, they kept showing Sue Bird's wife that plays soccer. She has the multicolored hair. She's kind of taking the place of the girl who took off her shirt and showed her sports bra to the world, and they put it on Sports Illustrated. They've caught her in that pose several times, so she's taking that energy and moving hair. Yeah, Sue Bird. That's what I was saying. Now, Sue Bird is married to the soccer player, so that's who she's talking about, Sue Bird. So yeah, I watched that, but as I said, I turned it away. I was watching the volleyball game. And then I got tired of the volleyball game, and I ended up turning it to just watch the football game. And even with the football game, I watched Super Slide come on tonight. I'll hold it for a little longer. No, not Sue, the gremlin-looking chick. I think the sister. Oh, the sister she has a disabled sister. Wasn't Sue Bird? I thought. Okay, I could be wrong. What the numbers? I don't know the numbers. Not Sue Bird, the gremlin looking. It's a bunch of gremlin looking chicks to play on that team. Which one? Hey, Sean. Hey, Creaky. What's that? It's a bunch of gremlin looking chicks that's on that team. So with the disabled sister, okay, somebody else has to chime in on that one. I'm stumped. Sue Bird had the runaway or the long. Somebody blocked it, and Bird was down there by herself and got left. And so that was like my. I didn't watch a whole lot of it. What do you think they're gonna do with Pacquiao versus Spence? B. Brown. Well, let me see if she's tall and looks like a goblin. You talking about Brianna? Yeah, Brianna, the chick from Connecticut, UConn, that plays not New York. Maybe she plays. I don't know where she plays. Um, but that's it. Let me see what she say. Valerie talking about Brianna. Yeah, Brianna. Yeah, Brianna Stewart. Right. Yeah, that's it. Brianna Stewart. She tall and looks like a goblin. Hey, David V. Yeah, Brianna Stewart. Okay, I'll Rocky. I'll get to that. They canceled that fight. They pulled out of it. When did they pulled out of it? What do I think about Pacquiao and Spence? I don't know how Pacquiao, who's got to come up basically in weight and with a devastating puncher, I don't know how he's going to be able to box that puncher. Um, did anybody see the Olympics today? Well, this was this morning, and I don't mean to change the subject, but this was kind of interesting. Did anybody see the karate? I think it was light heavyweight karate. I think this brother was from Brazil, and he fought this cat. This brother hit this cat with a round kick, like a front round kick, caught him, and the dude didn't get up. And they disqualified the dude. They wearing pads on their feet. He didn't hit him like really full. I didn't think he hit him with full force, but he kicked him and the dude was out for at least 15, 20 minutes. They came and stretchered his ass. And they disqualified the brother and gave the gold medal to the dude who got knocked out. He was still standing the thing. But the other fight this was probably under welterweight, light welterweight, if that's a thing. But this brother from Brazil, this brother was from Brazil. Maybe the karate dude wasn't. I can't quite remember. But this brother from Brazil was losing to a dude from what is it? One of the Russian used to be Soviet Union towns. This dude had won 64 fights. He was clearly winning the fight. This brother caught this guy with a left hook. Pow! Timed it perfectly. The dude didn't even see it coming. When the dude was falling, you could tell it caught him so off guard that he tried to stand on 2 feet and fell straight back. Instead of the dude had probably never been hurt before. So instead of like regaining his consciousness and taking a knee and getting his juju back, this dude stood up and staggered, and the ref counted him out. The brother was losing the fight and caught him. Pow! So no, he didn't die. No, that dude didn't die. He came back. He knocked him out. Yeah, he knocked him out cold. He knocked that dude out cold. Hey, so you got to watch it really good. They mixed it, added two hurdlers to the squad. Okay. Hey, PJ, what's happening? Lee Spence beat up Pacquiao, going to use more leverage to dodge Crawford. That's never going to happen. They're never going to fight. Crawford re-signed with Arum. It's not going to happen. Della Don has a disabled. Oh, Della Don. Maybe she probably get them mixed up. Aja Wilson is looking strange to me. Yeah, Tyson Fury bitch ass ran from Wilder. He cheated last time. Yeah, the fight is off because what did they say? They pulled out. Fury's people pulled out. Yeah, he knocked him out cold. No, he didn't die, but he was out for a long time. Spence is only $1.90. $1.90. Wow. Was a karate dude American? No, neither one of them was American. It was the gold medal fight. It was probably a cruiserweight or middleweight, and you gotta find that. He caught him perfect. The brother was beating him, but he caught him perfect and pow right up. And dude was out a good 20 minutes. Good 20 minutes. They put the neck roll, but they later showed. They didn't show the ceremony, but they showed the dude standing up, so the dude was all right. But the dude that hit that guy with that hook, you got to look that one up too. He was losing the fight. The brother was bigger and had nice skills, but he was losing the fight to this cat that had won 60-some fights, and they kept saying it over again. This guy's won 60-some fights. Pow! Perfect timed him. Dude never saw it coming and probably had never been hurt before. He hurt him, and they gave a gold medal to the dude. Does that happen to me? I'd never do the Olympics again. Oh yeah, he was out. So it wasn't an American dude. Yeah, you right, got her mixed up. Oh, okay. Sue Bird got 4. Yep, she does. I forgot how old Sue Bird is. I didn't know she was 40, at least 40. But see, they're dying with names that they keeping them chicks. And you seeing in the NBA too. You seeing like Patty Mills. Why should Patty Mills still be in the league? All these G League players, all these rookies. And you keeping Patty Mills, giving him guaranteed money? Come on, that's that's showing that is not, it's not real. That's showing some type of agenda. Yeah, I was stuttering my words. If y'all couldn't think, I was trying to think of the right word, but that's showing agenda. Clearly agenda. That's agenda driven. Clearly agenda driven. That's why they didn't win the Olympics. Is CP3 no longer NBA player president related to Suns losing? Could be, but he's the lovable loser. Made Maya Moore retire to walk away because she's too good. I think Maya did everything she could do in the WNBA. There was nothing less for her to achieve. She already making more money playing overseas. So she made a shit told. I think she played 10 years. So she made a shit ton of money overseas. And she found a dude and she dedicated herself to getting all her uh, um, law degrees and ministry. And so she helped that dude out. And that was what she wanted to get into. So basketball, she achieved everything she could achieve in the WNBA. All the girls around her retired. So I think it was okay. She watched. You just got finished watching UCF. The heavyweight Lewis got his ass whooped. Oh, okay. My friend wanted me to stay and watch it, but my daughter hadn't really ate, so I had to leave because we spent the day closer to Minneapolis in one of the suburbs. So we was there all day. Okay, got his ass whooped. Good. Thanks for telling me. 76ers going to finals in the 76 season. I don't know, B. Brown. We'll see who they put together. Patty Mills had 42 points last night. Wow. In the losing game, he ain't have, what was that? Who do you have? Wait a minute. 42 points. He didn't have 42 points in the championship gold medal game. He didn't even play in it. He went to, okay. He played in the bronze. Okay, he played in the bronze game. But that's my point. They hyping him up for that. But the 42 shows. Sent her to prison to find a man. What's happening, Liquid Fire? That's funny. That is real funny. That's funny, Valerie. Yeah, but Valerie, did you hear that boom last night? Did you hear that? Pow! That shit was crazy. Shit woke me up. It was so loud. You lying, not the man with the sledgehammer hands. Maya Moore won 4 titles. Yeah, exactly. What else? And she won titles in Europe. Remember that. She won titles in Europe too. And she made more money in Europe than she made here. So, for the bronze. Okay, so they played for the bronze. That's right. Patty Mills better do that on the Nets. NBA gonna have Patty magnets. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna have magnets. That's right. He got in that 5-player trade. He got moved again, didn't he? Hey, so thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining. But it's just like that's agenda driven to make him look good. That's agenda driven. Anybody that's run up and down, you with the help of manipulation, you can make anybody look good. Anybody can look good. So that's not hard to do. But the 42 points, that coding right there shows that there's something else going on there. My daughter sits here and moves all my protections around. I have to do it again. I'm going to get this computer to her and get another one, get another setup, get a camera and get a better setup. Hit another lockdown here in Melbourne, looking like 2 week went wild. I was reading something about how they're doing, like they were talking about one country, and I ain't gonna name the country, but the country supposedly was forcing people to do vax. And what happened is the nurses walked out, the doctors was walking out, businesses was trying to force people to take the drip. People was quitting and saying, fuck it, we rather quit than take the drip. And so all these places is closing down because people I'll say this, I noticed with Walmart usually had 1,000 mugs in there working. And I know sometimes it wasn't hardly anybody in there working. So if that could happen here where they start, people rebel and say, fuck your working. And what did Tupac say? Even if we stop working, we're going to be like, can we have some food? And before you know it, we're going to be taking the food. So let them play that game. But I hope the people respond. I mean, again, it's up to you how you want to do it. It's up to you. It's up to you. But we shouldn't be forced into it. And that tells you by them wanting to force people has nothing to do with safety. It has nothing to do with public safety. It has everything to do with agenda. Everything, they want them chemicals in you. They want those chemicals in you. They want 100% of people having chemicals in them, not for their health, for agenda and what those chemicals going to do, what we'll see them do. Nothing. It's not for the better good of man. Anytime they give them away some shit free, like Elvis Presley. One thing Zach points out, Elvis Presley did the polio shit on TV. Now, people been putting posts up and say, polio, when they was giving them polio shots up, look at the amount of deaths that from them first years of polio. Look up the number of deaths. I ain't got to get that information out. You can look it up yourself. Look it up. Damn, all the crawling and foaming at the mouth after a win for nothing. I knew he didn't have a lot of skill, but he got some hands. Hey, Ciova, that's that bad man, Ciova the technician. Thank you for joining me. They're pushing it heavy. Yeah. Oh, like I got in trouble for talking about one of my talks, but it's like I'm talking to one of my doctors, and it's like we're done talking, and all of a sudden this comes in, and the whole thing, the whole propaganda. It's like she has said this to so many times, and I've heard it from 4 or 5 different doctors. So it's like this whole thing on giving me statistics and all this. If it works, you don't have to convince people. No, I smoke weed, I get high. You ain't got to convince me that I'll get high if I smoke weed or wax. It's just, I know I will. But again, okay, I'm going to tell you, my price is 10 racks. They put 10 racks out there, invite me in, give me the 10 racks, tax-free. You give me the 10 racks tax-free, I'll be on the show. I'll make a show about it. Here's these motherfuckers. They're giving me 10. I'm doing it. Okay, for 10, not for 100, not for concert tickets. And I had some concert tickets today and forgot to give them to somebody. Somebody missed the music. It looked like it was going to rain. No, but it didn't. So what do you think about NBA investigating the Heat? Yeah, for tampering. See, this is what they end up doing. When LeBron and Bosh and them, see, the owners can talk about trading, moving players all the time. That's not considered tampering. But if the players do it, they because of what LeBron did to the Heat, him and Bosh and Wade, they've kind of come down on that kind of thing. So if players is trying to get players to move, and that's it. So and the general managers are generally smart enough to let them do it, but that is probably what's coming down. The job market, people, property, jab. The jab makes people property of the jab companies because the jab is listed as technology. Merriam-Webster added technology to the definition of vaccine. There you go. There you go. Thank you for adding that. See over the technician. Thank you. Any jab store requires it. I would never consent. There you go. I mean, no, you ain't got to consent. You ain't got to be against. What does it say? Let me find this. And I'll tell you perfectly how to look at it. It says this. Let me see which page it's on. I think it's in this one. And it says it perfectly on how you really handle this thing. And it's the perfect word. Here we go. People who don't want the drip aren't refusing. You don't say a person is refusing to take an antidepressant or refusing to get married. You decline without refusing. You decide what's best for you. Refuse, a manipulative tone loaded with unfair moral social pressure. Has nothing to do with, no, I'm not anti. Like I talked to my doctor. I took the shingles thing. I'm that age. I had chicken pox. I had 3 blood relatives that shit fuck with. Now, my mother didn't have it, but it's a good chance. I've already had nerve problems with my hands. So it's a good chance that nerve thing could get me. So they've had that around. I take concentrics every month. I should show you the scar. I wonder if they put something in my last dose of concentrics, because I got this damn scar you wouldn't believe. None of this stuff had ever done me like this. But so we're not refusing. We're not anti. It's just like we're not taking that step. You know, when they asked Ali to go to Vietnam, he didn't take the step up. He didn't refuse. He just did not step up. And they're trying to spin it as if you don't step up, you're refusing. No. The DRS be slanging the vax questions like, yeah, they do. It was like everything that we needed to cover was pretty much done. And she was saying, because I was like, I was about to hang up. And she said, oh, have you? I mean, really, everything was done we talking about. And then she went on and gave me a bunch of facts. I wrote all that shit down she told me. Because I was like, okay. But it's just, you don't have to convince, if it's good, you don't have to convince people it's good. Like when she said the concentrics would stop my back from being as weak and hurting, she was on the money. And everything I take is on the money. So they can't say I'm anti. I take a $5,000 shot once a month. And as I said before, what's the difference between a free shot and a $5,000 shot? Which shot would you think is more important? That's all I'm saying. They're saying I can't do that. I have to be out a month. So, again, I'm not afraid of their death, what they call their death. That doesn't fear me. I have no fear from them. And I'm not going to shame anybody that felt it was their responsibility to do it. That is your thing. I'm not going to come here and belittle anybody. That is your thing. And we all, and you feel fine. And that's part of it too. Like I said, the drugs I use, they only do what I allow them to do. That's how strong you have to be. Where's what from? So, where's what from? I didn't get where. Where's that from? LeBron and his sports management team always tampering. That's a good point. Where's what's from? Well, thank you, Strong Discernment. As I was told, my pops, we are done with all vaccines. Nothing else is going in your arm. The shingles back. Good. That I'm glad that you did that for it. I'm glad. Yep, I'm glad you did it. But my cousin had it, and it paralyzed her face. 2 cousins had it, and so and plus on my mother's side, my mother's never had it. I'll say that. But I understand. I understand the decision. They try to force it. Okay, Rocky. It's clearly happening. It's already happening. Wow, I hate you going through that. Everywhere my coworkers and constantly ask when I'm going in. Wow. See, that's that fucked up pressure. And that's the Nazi kind of shit. That's the Goebbels kind of stuff. Asking like that. You know, that's not really the HIPAA stuff. Is none of their business. That's what Dak Prescott said. He was like, that's HIPAA stuff. That's my business. I ain't none of y'all business. I agree. What you read? Oh, that's on my, if you go to my Facebook page under Brian, I'll tell you the guy who this guy was named, his name is Ben Irvine. And yeah, it's on my Facebook page under Brian Toby Macon. If you want to copy it, you can go there and copy it. But yeah, his name is Ben Irvine at Ben Irvine. He's an author. And so this is where that came from. Apparently it was on Twitter on 2/25/21. So February he put it in. So it's been out for a while. It's just my first time seeing it. And I wanted to share this information. So did anybody see the cop that was affected with the fentanyl? Did anybody see that? The cop that passed out on the fentanyl? Now I put like when Sly showed this on his channel on maybe Heavily Flawed Individuals channel, I put a comment where here in Minneapolis, supposedly, now 3 people did OD. So 3 people in the house OD'd, There were two people supposedly passed out in the front yard. The cops supposedly went in and handled the bags. Three of the cops supposedly came out and fell out. This is the story, and that's what I commented about. Well, that article that Super Slide put out, some doctors looked at the shit, and it says viral video on San Diego's exposure raises questions. And let me see if I can see it right here. Here we go. So they show him touch the bag, he falls out. Right here, the scientists say, we have a lot of scientific evidence and a good knowledge of the chemical laws, the way these drugs work, and that is impossible. He's saying for him to touch the bag is impossible to fall out. Medical director of toxicology and addiction at the University Hospitals in Cleveland. You can't just touch fentanyl and overdose, he said. It doesn't get into the air and make people overdose. Another academics at the University of California, San Diego, and North Carolina, nonprofit, Research Triangle, published a peer paper in June, concluded there's no confirmed touch-based cases of first responder fentanyl overdoses ever. Even when Narcolan, see, they talk about instead of Narcon, they have, well, it's basically the same stuff, Narcolan. Citing similar conclusions on skin contact from the American Medical Toxicology of the American Academy of Clinical Toxicology, the International Journal of Drug paper also suggests that panic attacks were at work. He had a panic attack because the dude was saying, be careful with it. He faked it. The one we saw, that's all fake. That's cap. It's all cap. The researchers at USC San Diego and RTI blame social media and U.S. government for dubious information about it. Regarding airborne fentanyl, researchers have said it would take a lot and a long time in presence to cause an overdose. So it's pretty much you'd have to throw the powder in the air and it'd have to blow, a fan would blow it on you. Okay, here we go. Her name is Tara Stomas, executive director of the Harm Reduction Coalition of San Diego, says she faced potential fentanyl exposure nearly every day when she hands out clean needles to addicts in a bid to prevent a kind of hepatitis A nightmare from 17. I haven't had a response to being near fentanyl. She said the normal things victims complain of a variety of non-specific symptoms, including dizziness, anxiety, fatigue, nausea, vomiting. Okay. A sheriff's department spokeswoman said the deputy was out of the country and unavailable for interviews. So they got him up out of there because people called their bullshit. So that was all cap, all cap. They're trying to tell you that that is so bad that if you touch the shit, and they got caught in a lie. They got caught in a lie. I heard all those moves, including Melo, was by the numbers. Something with Melo hitting 62, being 1 point more than Kobe, being the highest Nick in history. Can you post those fentanyl links after the show in the comments? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll put it in the I will put it in the under the thing. I'll put it in there. But it's on US News, but it's all off of NBC by Dennis Romero. So I'll try to figure out how to share that. Right here, wastewater testing reveals scale of the drip in the water. So they saying when people now I know what the chemicals they put in wastewater, they kill everything. It is literally impossible for anything to get through that water. I don't give a fuck what they put when they clean that water. Now, if you've ever been to a waste treatment plant, they leave the waste out and they put chemicals in there to eat all the shit in there. And this shit is out for weeks at a time. And most of the time it's uncovered. And then they treat the water again. And then they put freaking fluoride in it. And they put chloride in it. So you telling me this shit's going to live through that, which is chloride is basically a type of bleach. Nah. They acted like fit nose tinker. Exactly, Rocky. Last season, can you? I'll try to, Rocky. I'll try to post them. I'll try to post it though. Exactly. I saw they up to something with that cop passing out. They're probably going to pass a law saying if you get caught with it, you're getting life. Probably so. Hey, Jesse Lynn. Wellness to you, of course. Last regular season game, score was 123, 109. Game 5 versus Subs to eliminate the score 120 nets. Oh, interesting. So, we catch them. We catch them with these lies all the time, trying to say they're testing the water. It could be in the water now. I be forgetting like this. I do get a lot of physics. I kind of am a physics nut, and I try to find things that I could explain easy. So when this shit comes around, you kind of got a general idea of what they're talking about. So, okay, I guess it's okay. I'm a little. This is what's interesting. I don't mind sharing the work. I don't. I don't mind. I really don't mind sharing the work. But anybody that listens to me has known I said what 2-3 weeks ago. I said that I am in the awareness community. Lucid Living TV, who I've caught several times. This chick got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I catch her using my work, my brother's work. All of a sudden, she just let's call it the awareness, not the conscious. I mean, chick, you watching the shit? Okay. I mean, it ain't gonna give me more subscribers because you say, well, I listened to this brother and he suggested we have an awareness community, or you work into your awareness. She doesn't know what fractals are. She's talking about every time you take on agreements, you take on the monkey on your back. That those are fractals from you. Fractals don't work like that, honey. Fractals are a repeating pattern. The golden ratio. All these are type of crystals, repeating patterns, honey. So how is that where you have attachments is repeating patterns? Well, I guess if you're the kind of person that keeps picking up attachments, so it's all right though. You got the word out, and that's the most important part. But don't act like you just that's how she tried to play it. So more eyes be on than what I realize. And I guess there's some value to some shit I'm saying. So Lucid Living TV is the chick. And I've caught her before using the stuff. Now, I'm the first that say people stuff. If I use people stuff, I'm the first to say who says it. I'm good about that. I don't need to listen to other motherfuckers and then give my spin. I'll say this is who said this, and this is, this is some good stuff. But some people, I guess, they need to think they came up with shit. That makes you feel better, honey. Okay. Kind of like the DARE program on the crack area kind of is. You think Chris Paul won't win a ring? Nah, they're not going to let the lovable loser win a ring. He got the commercials. And he didn't get the commercials for winning. Look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry got to share commercials with a bunch of mugs. What does he really highlighted? That he wasn't even getting the car commercials by himself. They showed 2 by himself and they showed 2 with other people. Steph Curry is one. I mean, again, it's manipulated, but Steph Curry is one. Yet Chris Paul has a solid commercial going. Chris Paul's had his commercial longer than Rodgers. Look how long that discount double check. And look what Chris Paul has done to the brothers. He got DeAndre Jordan dressing like a fucking woman wearing the Farrah Fawcett kind of wig. And Jordan is so hungry to get some kind of recognition that he wore the wig and wore the dress. 7-footer. Harding. Now, Harding, I think, will never win. I don't think they're going to let him win either. But Harding had to jump on Chris Paul stuff. And how many scoring titles has he won? What does Chris Paul want? Nothing. I'm old Manny. Rogers. Rogers won a Super Bowl and he gets commercials. Patty Mahomes won a Super Bowl. He gets commercials. Chris Paul has won nothing. And look back in the history of sports. Winners get commercials. Soon as RG3 couldn't be a winner, he's out of Subway. You ain't seen him again and nothing. As I said, RG3 about to be on ESPN as an analyst. And don't be surprised he could end up in Indianapolis. And I'm going to say this again. Larry Bird and Dennis Rodman, they're definitely on the countdown. They definitely are. One or both at the same time. They're going to fall pretty close together. Watch. There's too much they're putting out about both. Larry Bird and Rodman they're gonna catch it. I don't know why and what, because the way they set up this human sacrifice is you start seeing these people. You start seeing them. You know, Rodman is back into the Jordan thing with Jordan's little thing he put on. I'm old man, and tonight I'm a little tired. But it's just when you see these old athletes, and, you know, I don't know if people watched the 2000 last year's Hall of Fame. You know, I'm an Eagles fan, so I love Harold Carmichael. And Harold Carmichael said something very interesting. He said that his confidence really got changed by playing kickball with a group of dudes. He said just the way they taught him how to compete, get the love for the game helped him. And he called out these dudes that 60 years ago he used to play kickball with. That moved my kundalini. That felt good. You know, the brother went to Southern, talked about all the coaches. He talked about one of the pros that he played with, Mel Blount, that played with the Steelers, and how Mel Blount helped him in college. Some of my teammates really made me feel good the other day. One of my teammates like, hey, how you doing? Because we really ain't Facebook friends. And I was like, you know, I'm up here and whatever. And he was like, we was just talking about you the other day and how great an athlete you were and how you probably should have played basketball in college too. And I was like, wow. So they saw it. They saw it. And I appreciated that they saw it, because I wasn't just a football player. I was an athlete. I was fast enough to run track. Didn't like it. Didn't get the point of it. It's like I like to fight, but fighting without being mad, it just didn't. Sparring was cool, but it was like, if I didn't like a dude, I like sparring with him. But if it was like my man, I'm like, I don't really get why I got to beat up my man. I ain't mad at him. They're like, well, it's not that you're mad at him. But that was, to me, what motivated fighting, was being mad at somebody. So it didn't appeal to me. And track didn't appeal to me. So what, I beat you running? Okay, I already knew that before. I did some movie shit with the dude that was the fastest in the city, and I talked shit to him. I said, I'll beat you running in these clothes. I said, you can go get your track shit. I didn't even run track. And we had motherfuckers follow us from the cafeteria out to the track, and I ran in tennis shoes, and I beat this motherfucker in the 100, which was his specialty, because at 75 yards, I kept getting faster. And, you know, they was like, well, damn, why don't you run the relay team with me? My high school football coach hated I didn't run track, because that's what he had planned. And he did put one of my best friends at Michigan, and he's in the Hall of Fame. He was All-American and shit, so my bad. Yeah, I did see him throw that up, CW. I did see that. RG3 to Indianapolis. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, King. Grinder the Man had a monster game. Yeah, that's what we was talking about. FloJo movie with Tiffany Haddish, then the chick being compared to Flo. That's a good point, Reese. And, you know, it was always, they was trying to say that FloJo, you know, she died, that she was taking steroids. It was kind of, she never got hit for it, but they was kind of hinting at that. But yeah, I saw that Troy threw that up when they put on the Vermint's battle. I had a feeling that the members of either group might get it. That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't think nobody brought that up. That's a good point. PJ said, I saw the same thing when they put on the versus battle. I have a feeling one of the members of either the Locks or Dipset is. Well, you know, they were saying that 6ix9ine did something to Jim Jones, and he's about to get federally hit with some shit. So that could be. Tiffany Haddish. The disrespect is dubious. That is kind of funny. The man lady named Jackie that ran with FloJo, they could not hide that. And her brother. Remember, she had a brother and they used to show the husband, but her brother looked just like her. Jackie Kersey, she had a brother. Remember, she had that husband. Yeah, yeah. The man, that's Freddie Stark, the servant. Ain't got nothing on Flo. No, she wouldn't have beat them sisters either. Them sisters that ran the 100, she wouldn't have beat them. She wouldn't have beat them. And that sister that ran the 220, no, she wasn't gonna beat her either. So instead of and you know, business wise, it made sense. Why why take away from from her persona? Keep it intact. She went out to Olympics. This chick is running in a couple weeks. She's probably working on it now. She's about to go to another title in next week. I think it's next week. She runs again. So she ain't hurting. She ain't hurting. I just saw a media thing. Style Peas was speaking there. Okay. I think I caught it. I saw that. I didn't listen. It's just a figure of speech, not saying lying, just surprise. And Cam ain't never came in my algorithm till now. Interesting. That's interesting. The 100-meter, the most important thing in track. Yeah, it shows that's how they rate the fastest person in the world. I think the Jesse Owens was first given that. And we know probably in modern terms, well, no, trying to think who won in not 64 Olympics, because Bob Hayes won in the 64 Olympics. And Bob Hayes, probably in modern terms, was the first one declared the fastest man in the world. And he later played for the Cowboys. I think they just recently put him in the Ring of Honor. But if you look at Bob Hayes' stats, he probably should be in the Hall of Fame. It was like looking at Everett James, like looking at Everett James and him going into the Hall of Fame. So he led the league in rushing his first 2 years. So he was, because my thing was, when was he all pro? Gale Sayers only played 100 games, but for 5 straight years, Gale Sayers was first team all pro. All-star games mean nothing. It's either first, second, third team all pro. I think NFL is only first, second team. Like NBA is, you get 3 teams. They have 3 teams all pro. That decides your great year. So even comparing Gale Sayers' career to Everett James, Gale Sayers basically wins. So now we're looking at a person that 3 times all pro, he's in the league. He's in the Hall of Fame. So that's interesting. That's like Harold Carmichael, for his team, he's still the all-time leader in receptions. He's the all-time leader in receiving TDs. And again, they made him wait forever. Was he better than Drew Pearson? I think so. Drew Pearson played in maybe 1 or 2 Super Bowls, though. So I thought he was a better receiver. Yeah, Jackie Jerder. Yep. She had a brother, though. She had a brother. I can't think of his name. Yep. You think the NBA investigating Bulls Heat for tampering? I think so. I mean, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, the way that now players approach people, they're coming down on that. And they're calling that tampering. If the players even stop talking to her. So that is what they're trying to stop. It's okay for the management to talk about moving players, but when the players decide, they want to call that tampering. So it's hard to make. Yeah, it's only 200 and some people that's still alive in the Hall of Fame. It's only 200 and some people. So it's like Chris Carter, no doubt, should be in. They didn't like him because a lot of people don't like Chris Carter. Look, that's how he lost his TV show. Motherfuckers just don't like him. He's an arrogant, very narrow-minded cat, too. I've met him a few times. Very narrow-minded cat, but his stats say he should be in. And they did the same thing to Terrell Owens. You know, that they didn't like him. Like Barry Bonds, and you know, the one that got treated the worst for not getting along with the press is Kareem. Never letting Kareem coach once he wanted to coach and did everything to coach. And hell, let's remember, Bob McAdoo is the only MVP player that's not in the NBA, in the Basketball Hall of Fame. The Basketball Hall of Fame is your high school, your college, and everything. There's no way Connie Hawkins would have made it just on his NBA career. No way. He made it on his everything, playing with the Globetrotters, playing with the ABL, playing with the ABA, being a street ball star. But they don't put Bob McAdoo in. He's the only MVP that's not in the Hall of Fame. So Chris Carter got fired. Yeah. Chris Carter got fired. Yeah. Do you think Kyrie will make it even though the media don't like him? And this is the thing about Kyrie, not much college. He ain't going to make it on being his college career. Now, his pro career, again, how many All NBA teams has he made? Now, somebody can probably look that up. Yeah, Edward James jacket numbers 336. Yeah, they had it in there. Yep. So only 200 out of them 3 threes is alive. That's interesting. Bobby, yeah, Bobby Kersey. That's right. That's his name. Thank you. Yep. So I don't know. It's like maybe it's like Barry Bonds because they didn't like him. Like there was, I guess, on Instagram they were showing LeBron James and some of the other players' lockers. Do y'all remember Barry Bonds' locker? Does anybody remember what that looked like? He had a big screen. He had like a corner with a big screen TV, a recliner, and he had like his own area where he dressed. And that's what they did for him. So that's right up my alley. I heard reports of LeBron's blackballing Schroeder's move to New York. Schroeder is going to get screwed. He screwed himself not signing and re-signing with the Lakers. There's no interest in him either. I wouldn't be surprised, though, because he did it to himself. He thought he was more valuable than what he actually was. Slide to the left. Chris used to make my eyelids ache. It was too extra. And meeting him, he's the same way. Not saying he won't sit there and rap to you, but it's like something about him that doesn't seem genuine. Like Randy Moss was super cool. Randy Moss was just super cool. He was always in the hood, helping children, wanting to hoop. He loved to hoop. So he played, I think when I was coaching the Pro-Am League, Randy played a few years in the Pro-Am League when he was here. He played like his first couple years, or maybe his third year here, because I think he was only here 3 years. So he played one of them years. He played in the Pro-Am League here. He hooped. So he was always in gyms. You would always see him. Sports talk shows use black and white talking heads to debate. Yeah, that opposite. Yep. 69 had a record conversation of Jim Jones trying to set up a hit on one of them dudes. Wow. Oh, that's what it is. Has a recorded conversation. Jim Jones trying to. Interesting. Yeah, Valerie Schroeder bought him. Yeah, he fucked up his paper. He misplayed. He thought the market was going to be open to him. He didn't see that if he didn't jump, he fucked around $80 million though. That's really what's going to come. He going to sign for way less. Lakers, yeah, ain't nobody going to want him, and he's going to be forced to run back to the Lakers, and he's going to sign for way less. Way less. Yeah, LeBron has 3 lockers, and that's not it. That's not it. Kyrie got 3 All NBA, 7 All Stars, first NBA champ, rookie of the year. He's only 29. Now that's okay. Now that might get him in. 3 All NBAs might get him in. Rookie of the year, that's kind of iffy. It's been a lot of rookie of the years that didn't make the Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's been rookie of the years. Like I was looking at something that had to be wrong because one of my friends put that Pistol Pete won Player of the Year in 68, 69. Let me get that. Yeah, maybe he did. That would have been the year after Kareem left. So maybe he did. Yeah, because Kareem's last year at UCLA was 69. So maybe Pete did. You know, Pistol Pete averaged 43.2, 43.9. In his final college year, he averaged 44 points a game. We'll never see that. They said that if Pistol Pete would have played with the 3-point line, he would have averaged damn near 60 points a game. That's how deadly he was. Watch some of his highlights. Again, the majority of ball handling, I'll say this, Pistol Pete's ball handling drills was so loved that they started paying him extra before the game to go out and do the drills. A lot of drills you see on ball handling is shit that Pistol Pete brought into the game. And that's something he probably, I would say the best ball handler of all time was probably Marcus Hayes, followed by Curly. Curly was just as well. Marcus Hayes was better. But Big O, but you definitely got, as far as ball handling, you have to include Pistol Pete. There's no way he can't be in that conversation. When you're still doing this man's drills, and plus, I've never heard anybody else able to dribble a ball with their right hand while you're riding in a car. And then go do the same thing with your left hand. Go try that shit, see if you can do it. Sit in the back seat of a car, see if you can start dribbling and going 25 miles, see if you can keep it up. That ain't easy. Hey, James, what's happening? He wanted to be Jerry West. He never had, like, if they would have let Dr. J play with the judge, because the judge forced Dr. J back into the league, back into the ABA because of his contract. If Pistol Pete would have played with Dr. J and Lou Hudson, they might have did a little damage in the East. They might have Steve Nash. Yeah, okay. I can't say bad about Nash. And Nash won two MVPs, which he didn't deserve either one of them. It was agenda-driven for sure, for butts in the seats. So we gotta, give it to the man. But that's how you look at a career. Like what's his name, the Denver running back that got hurt all the time. He made it, and I think he only made 3 All NFLs, or maybe even 2. Yep. Takashi is an informant. How do they not know? But that's the game. Being an informant is the game. Being an informant is the game now. That's the game. There are people that just work for them. We see that. That's always been the job for the last 40 years. Is people start, when you have any kind of influence, you start working for them. You start working for them. Nate Archibald, I would say Nate Archibald, yes. Kuzi really wasn't that great of a ball handler. Kuzi did behind the back pass because Kuzi was seeing them brothers in New York do it. He was copying their style. Watch how he dribbles though. He dribbles high. He seldom you see a cross. You'll see him just dribble to his right. Yeah, I say no Kuzi. I'll say Tiny Archibald. Man, Tiny Archibald had a move where so there's one move where Tiny Archibald rushes to the center. So he's on like not a break, but they kind of got an advantage. He's in the key, goes beyond the free throw line, turns his back, and he does like a half spin. But he really, like when he does the half spin, as he's doing the spin this way, he switches the ball to his left. So he just kind of fakes this way with his shoulder, and he already has the ball in his left, and then he turns. But it's like he posts the dude, but he turns so quick off the dude. I mean, you got to catch that move. It's one of the best breakdown moves that you can find. But yeah, I would give that to him. And remember, Tiny Archibald led the league in assists and scoring in the same year. And I think Terrell Davis, that's his name, 2 Super Bowl champions. But I think he rushed for 2,000 yards. And that would put Johnson. Remember Johnson that played for the Oilers? He ran for 2,000 yards. Is he in? I think he got 1 All-Pro. Hey, Caesar, what's happening? Thank you for joining. But yeah, Terrell Davis, Dobie, thanks for joining. What's happening? But Terrell Davis got hurt tackling somebody, tore his career up tackling somebody. Thanks. Nate's idol was Kuzi. Nate's idol was Kuzi, Caesar. Yeah, Kuzi, watch Kuzi. And I say Oscar Robertson was a better ball handler than Kuzi because Oscar was the master of the pick and roll. I mean, all them triple doubles was him and Wayne Aubrey. I've talked about that all the time. You watch those films of them, they unstoppable in the pick and roll. Nobody stopped him. They was better than Stockton and Mahomes. Calvin Murphy. I love Calvin Murphy because he did baton. My daughter's big in baton, and I've showed her Calvin Murphy. And ball handling, no. I don't know, because he really didn't break people down. He was quick and able to move, but I don't know. He was, and my pause is because he was a straight in front of kind of bringing up guard. He wasn't really a push him at him guard. Now transition, yes, but just normal handling and breaking his man down. I mean, what he was good at is he would break a man and then stop. He'd stop on a dime, and then he was so consistent. And again, this dude free throws. He's up there with the best free throw shooters of all time. So Calvin, I don't know. He didn't really break people down with his dribble. I didn't feel. If Terrell Davis doesn't mess up his knees and Elway stays, they still had a decent team. No NBA team has a three-peater, even Brady. Yeah, no one has ever three-peated. That's right. Oscar, yes, triple double. How about all world be free? He was more of a two though. His game was more of a two. Um, he's the same kind of dude. He was a bring it up. Like if he brought it up, he was a bring it up guard. He wasn't really that breaking people down. Whereas his natural position is a two. Yeah. He was from. I used to see him all the time. He went to him and ML Carr, ML Carr. Yeah, him and ML Carr went to Guilford College. So I used to play. I used to see him all the time in the summers. But nice size. More of a two though. I would say more of a two. Not to say that a two, but like somebody you got to put in there is Earl Monroe and Walt Frazier. These was break them down guards that would break them down. And I mean, Earl Monroe, the spin is watch him, watch Earl Monroe and just the way he moved on people. Earl Monroe was a force, and so was Clyde though. Clyde and Oscar about the same height. Well, Oscar's probably a little taller, but Clyde about 6'4". He went to Southern Illinois. So, hey, Mr. Taylor, them boys in New York, Pee Wee Kirkland. I would say Booger. What's his Booger McFarland? Was that Booger's name? Booger probably you could consider him his ball handling. Probably was if you study Pee Wee Kirkland was allowed to play prison, basically semi-pro, and he was dropping hundreds on people. I watched Tim Reed. We was in a tournament, and we used to go to Jackson Prison and play in the tournament. Nick Taylor ever sees this, he would know about Jackson Prison. And it was a cage. Like the cage was up top. All the prisoners sat behind the cage, and we hooped in the court. And I watched Tim score 100. Tim Reed, I talk about Tim off and on all the time, but Tim scored 100 in the game in prison. This was a tournament, not really, still semi-pro, but he was just hooping in prison. And that's my thing about Mike Tyson. You can hoop in prison, you can box in prison. And they didn't let Tyson box. Bernard King, Bernard King is the Truck Robertson, Adrian Dantley kind of game. That mid-range game that just you can't be stopped with a mid-range game. And that's what Zion brings that a little bit, where I can take anybody to the hoop. I know that feeling where no one can stop me from going to the basket. Zion has that. If he develops that little short shot like King had, he'll be unstoppable too. If he can develop that. Because remember, Shaq was just a dunker at first. Shaq had to get the jump hook. He had to get, because it's just, they started packing it in on him. So Westbrook triple double is overrated and scripted. Absolutely. I showed one. I showed that where they box everybody else. And I showed one where even the other team boxes out for him. And they wait for him to get the ball. Elgin Baylor as a ball handler, no, but as probably up to 1970, the best small forward by far the best small forward. I talked about it's a game where they played, and they played the only way you could score was dunking. And this is in the 50s. The only way you could score, they're playing pickup ball, and the only way that scores is you got to dunk. You know how competitive that gets, and that's how where Elgin comes from. But Elgin being able to go up and hang in the air, be able to break anybody down man for man. Elgin was that dude, really was. The NBA game, this is where Elgin is not looked at. Elgin was going to give you 40, 50, but he was going to have 20 rebounds. And he is not looked at as that strong rebounder. Look at his average of rebounds. It's over 10 or 12. He has something like 18 points a game and 12 to 15 rebounds as a career. But if you look at those games where he dropped 50, 60, he had 20, 25 rebounds. You wasn't going to see him with 60 points and he only had 4 or 5 rebounds. Hell no. He had 60, he had 20 plus rebounds. He went after it just as efficiently as Rodman. So Elgin was that. Yeah, basketball in prison. Yeah, that's like Pee Wee Kirkland was in the early 70s. They was taking him around the country, mostly on the East Coast, and they was, having tournaments like that. Yeah. I remember dudes, this is how bold dudes in prison be like. Dudes would be like, hey, let's change jersey. They ain't gonna hold you in here. I'll take your jersey and leave with the team. Like, motherfucker, they ain't watching. Just because you wearing a jersey, you think you could get out? And I'm being accomplice. Like, motherfucker, you is tripping. But I remember my best friend who he did a big bid in prison. My best friend growing up, he comes in the locker room. We're in the tournament. He comes in the locker room. He fires up a joint and shit. We're smoking weed in the prison in the locker room. that he supplied. There's a 30-30, but only 20. Oh, okay. Thank you. Caesar, you listening to Tony? Yeah, Elgin was nice. No, their roster. Tim Hardaway. Wow. I tell you, my cousin, who's the mayor, Marcus Muhammad, the mayor of Benton Harbor, Michigan, he talked about playing against Hardaway and playing against Iverson. And we should probably put Iverson in there too. I say Iverson would be up there pretty high. I would put Iverson over Hardaway, but my cousin said between the two, he said was no comparison. He said Iverson was that quick and that well with the ball. So I would put Iverson over Hardaway. But Hardaway did have a nice kind of rocker step, his crossover. But I still say Iverson's was way nastier. Penny as a ball handler, I don't know. Now I'll say this: I'll give him. He wasn't that straight up bringing it up guard. He was more pushing it up, kind of like Magic. So overall ball handler, not one of the top point guards. No, I wouldn't get that to him. Kyrie got the best handles in the league now. I would say a couple years ago, yes, but he's been beat up so much that his quickness is really. That's how you got to look at the quickness. Hey, Jeffrey Lane, what's happening? So he's taking a beating, and it's that's what happens to smaller dudes. They get hurt so much that it affects their quickness. And I would say yes, he used to be, but the last year definitely wasn't. Not last year, but if we're talking about his career so far as one of the top ball handlers, especially currently playing, I would say overall career, yes, as one of the top ball handlers that's still playing. I would put him up there. But I would definitely put Iverson. Iverson probably top 10. Probably top 10. Far as running with the ball, far as being able to dribble faster. That's why you got to check out Earl Monroe's game, on how a point guard is attacking point guard. Like even Marbury. Marbury wasn't that efficient to me as a scoring point guard, especially as handles. I didn't really see Marbury breaking people down with his handles. He really wasn't breaking people down. He was one of the first dudes that would go to the basket and then look to kick. I think that's what he doesn't get enough for. He was one of the first to really do that, especially when I was watching him when he played here. I was like, wow, nobody's really doing that. Going to the ball, going to the hoop so hard and then kicking out to the three. So I give that to Marbury. I think he was one of the first to really introduce that part of the game. But far as great handles, yeah, I would put in like Marbury, Tefurl, I would say they's about the same. I don't put one above the other. Magic, yeah, Magic was a supreme ball handler. Not fast, not quick, but I watched Magic play Benton Harbor. No, they wouldn't have played. What was it? Couldn't have been Benton Harbor. No, it was just a regular season game. I saw Magic play a regular season game against Benton Harbor. These are some of the baddest, quickest brothers in Michigan. And they pressed him, and Magic walked through it. Being he's over so big, Magic 6'9", he's able to pass through it, but just pure handling, yeah. Since he was in ninth grade, he pure handler. Yeah, Magic was a great pure ball handler. Definitely. He would be in the top 10, no doubt. Yeah, that's a good point, Jeffrey. Hey, Mr. Taylor, Derrick Rose. I would say pre-Derrick Rose getting hurt. Yeah, pre-Derrick Rose getting hurt. Again, once you get hurt, your quickness goes. So, but pre-Derrick Rose, there hasn't really been another player like that. And again, when he first got hurt, he shouldn't even been playing. They was winning. Remember when he got hurt and tore his knee up in the playoffs? He was winning. Yeah, Cleveland Kyrie, yeah. He was breaking people down nicely. So Derrick Rose before injury. Hey, Jeffrey. Yeah, Iverson was nice. 6'9", play any position. As I was saying last night, what people forget about Magic is Magic could guard a small forward or power forward with the size. He had that kind of size. So he was a great to have on defense. Kevin Johnson and Mark Price. I don't like Mark Price because he talked that bullshit about Magic. Even as a ball handler, quickness wasn't really there. Kevin Johnson, would he be top 10? Wow. Okay, will we put Kevin Johnson over Kuzi? I would put him over Kuzi. A lot of people may not because Kuzi was looked at as putting a lot of the tricks that he copied from the Globetrotters and New York City dudes, I would put Kevin Johnson over Cousy. Yeah, I definitely would. So, and I say we didn't even mention Jerry West as a ball handler. Jerry West, you got to consider Jerry West too as a ball handler. The logo. While will Rose make the Hall of Fame? If he accumulates enough years, he might. This is what's going to hurt a lot of them cats, though. Them cats not having long college careers. Because, again, the Basketball Hall of Fame ain't just the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So it's like, it's all the basketball. So maybe Mark Price to Stockton, Pride of Gonzaga. Caesar, I would say Stockton over Price, because Stockton had a strength to his game. He was a dirty kind of dude too, but neither one of them was quick. DJ 10, DJ 10. What did he say about Magic? Oh, he was like when Karl Malone. So Magic. Remember, they did basket manipulation for Magic in the All-Star game. He's hitting threes. Magic was never. Magic shot a set shot three. So, they do basket manipulation, make him MVP. Magic plays in the Dream Team. Magic is getting ready. Magic signed the biggest contract at the time, more than Karl Malone. Karl Malone plays the whole summer with Magic on the Dream Team. And then when the league starts and Magic gets more money than Karl Malone, all of a sudden Karl Malone says he can't play with a dude with HIV. After being with him for almost 3 months. And Mark Price threw shade on him too. But that's kind of hurt Mark Price in coaching positions, because I know the long hand of who they pick, that kind of hit him. So that's what Mark Price was like, yeah, I couldn't play against a dude with HIV. Mark Price came out and said that shit too. But Karl Malone was so dirty, he had been with him. And see, I don't know if y'all realize, Karl Malone thought that when Magic quit, it was going to be his league. And Karl Malone's head, he thought he was better than Jordan. He thought he was better than Jordan. And when Karl Malone won his MVP, look at Jordan's stats compared to his. Very could have went to Jordan. Yeah, KJ over Cousy. West and DJ. Dennis Johnson game. Dennis Johnson, I would say Gus Williams better ball handler than Dennis Johnson. And Gus Williams, could I keep him out of the top 10? I'd have to really think about that, because Gus Williams is up in there too. Very, very player. People don't talk about him. Like I was talking about downtown Freddie Brown. Shit, the person that was putting the dagger in people the year that Seattle won it was Gus Johnson. And I don't mean Gus Johnson from the Bulls. I mean the guard Gus Johnson. So I am still mad at Michigan lost the Final Four. The Fab Five. Okay. Zeke, yes. Definitely top 10. Yeah. Isaiah. I told this story before. We was playing in the tournament. Isaiah was supposed to come. So Isaiah comes at halftime. So I didn't play in this game. I watched this game. He scored 50 and only played in 2 quarters of basketball. He scored 50 in this Pro-Am Summer League. He came in and dropped 50. And like with the Chicago Cats, you see, like even Mark Aguirre, and I'm not saying Mark Aguirre was in there for greatest ball handler, but Mark Aguirre had a nice handle for being 6'7", 6'8". I mean, that was kind of the Chicago game. All of them can handle the ball. The DePaul player played with Milwaukee. Even he at 6'9" was a decent ball handler. Terry Cummings, Chicago Cats. So yeah, Isaiah's top 10. Isaiah might be top 5. He might be top 5 of best. Like, watch that one where he zigzags around everybody. He's on the right side. And I mean, that is one of the best displays. But again, you have to, what I look at is, can this point guard break a dude down without a pick? And Isaiah wasn't that stand in front of everybody point guard. He was the penetrating point guard and breaking people down with the dribble. So yeah. Look up those Yukon games, the past. I know it was fake, and even though from Connecticut, I don't like cheating. Crazy how Magic and Isaiah kiss on the lips. Isaiah's in the 5. Yeah, Caesar. I think we would have to put him in the top 5. Chris Jackson. Now, the good thing about Chris Jackson going to the Hall of Fame is he had great years. Well, he played 2 or 3 years at LSU, at least 2. And he was the first cat I really watched that could score. Like, if he came down, like, when they first brought him on, and they was putting his games on national television, on ESPN and others, but he was one of the first cats, other than Pistol Pete. I say, other than Pistol Pete that I watched, would come down 5 times in a row and score all 5 times. Like, you know how dudes will shoot 5 times and make 2 maybe? No, not him. He was coming down 5, 6, 7, 8 times, scoring every time. And the only other dude I saw that had that ability was Pistol Pete. So now Pro Mark Jackson, you know, he wasn't that he wasn't average, but it just wasn't really lined up for him. And then the stance he took, they used that against him to kind of blackball him. But his college career, it might get him in the Hall because of his college career. But the blackball thing might hurt him. Pro. I can't put him in my top 10. Just he didn't have a great line of work. Again, he never played any pressure games in the playoffs. And it's rigged, but he never played any real pressure games. So I wouldn't put him in my top 10. Maybe in the top ball handling, pure ball handler. Yeah, he would probably be in the top 20 as a pure ball handler. But would I put him over Tim Hardaway, even though he was a better scorer? Don't know that I would. Whether we are facing is biblical or epic. Could be, Jeffrey. Yeah, Isaiah's top 5. You got to put Isaiah top 5. Who would I put over Isaiah? I would say Magic. I got to put Earl Monroe in there and Walt Frazier. Now, I'll take the old dudes out. I'll take Marcus Haynes out, even though I think Marcus Haynes should be in there. I think he's the best ball handler ever. I really do. And Curly Neal's not far behind. I know they didn't play in the NBA like that, but I'm saying pure ball handling. And I got to put Pistol Pete in there too, because when his drills are used 40, 50 years later, yeah. So Magic, Pistol Pete, Isaiah, Earl Monroe. I put Earl before Walt Frazier. I might even want to put Jerry West before Walt Frazier. So that's probably how I would put 5, and then we could go into 10 with the others. Marcus Haynes definitely has to be in the top 10. As pure ball handler, he has to be. A lot of tricks going behind the back. I don't know if people give that. Marcus Haynes was one of the first to go behind his back as far as being and I know it was with the Globetrotters, but just all his ball. He was one of the first to really use that as a crossover, because going behind the back is nothing but a crossover. Raul gave Cass the business. He was no joke. The stance he took messed him up. I seen something take. Yeah. He was a good player. He was definitely a good player. I want to say my cousin Mark Macon was up there in Denver when he was in there, Denver. I want to say him and Mark played a season or 2 together. You said you should own land in Boston area. What do you want the people who are there now? You know Trapitsky Records? You know what they did? My brother contacted the Wampanoag, and like they don't want to recognize the brothers. We contacted Sapani in South Carolina. They was cool. No, the Catawba in South Carolina. They was cool. They kind of like, we just come down and we could do business with them. Sapani, can't get in touch with anybody, won't return my calls. And they hear the name Heathcock, and they know there's no way they could deny me. They're right in Halifax County, North Carolina, where my ex-wife is from. So after several attempts, we had, and the thing about it is we had a records of the land he got taken from him. And then they re-gave him the 20, and they probably took it back on taxes. because he ended up, after he got kidnapped, he went back and he got 20 acres. He ends up leaving, probably was threatened and left, and then he ends up in North Carolina. So, Boston area won't be good. So, yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know if we could. That's what I was feeling. Yeah, I don't think Penny is up there as a ball handler. I won't. Meadowlark Lemon, no, Caesar. Meadowlark was weak. Read Will Chamberlain's book about Meadowlark. They took Meadowlark, tried to go to the Rucker and hoop. He couldn't hoop. Meadowlark couldn't hoop. Meadowlark was showed up so bad that he started doing the Globetrotter shit, and some dudes jumped on him. Couldn't hoop. Meadowlark couldn't hoop. So no, Meadowlark wouldn't be in there. What do you think? We'll see a player play two sports again, like Bo? It's like guys get so good young age that they more than likely pushed in one or two positions. A lot of football players run track. A lot of football players hoop. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I remember Mark Macon. He was really nice at Temple as well. Yeah, Mark was nice at Temple. Mark really, when they lost, and I don't remember who they lost to, he damn near beat Mark. Damn near, when he was a senior, beat North Carolina by himself. He had a great game. That's what got him drafted. But when Mark had big man Perry with him, and they let Mark shoot him out the game, they was the number one seed. Whatever year when Mark was a freshman, Mark made the cover of Sports Illustrated. He had Perry. Mark shot him out the game, and Chaney didn't stop him. When Perry was the dude they should have been giving the ball to. And I don't know if they beat Duke or Duke knocked them out, but they was the freaking number one seed, and Chaney let Mark shoot him out the game. It was funny, though, too. Mark was like he's just a laid back dude. He's just very astute. Charlie Macon is a name throughout the family. There's a bunch of people named Charlie. And Mark's uncle is my man in Saginaw named Charlie Macon. He's around my age. I got a great uncle. He would probably be he would be my great uncle, Charlie Macon. I don't know, Jeffrey. I couldn't answer that. It's somewhere. Dennis is being blackballed now. Wow. What are your thoughts on the solar minimum and maximum? Yeah, they was talking about that in the Lions Gate. That shit ain't for me. If you affected by that, okay. But it was just like they were saying the Mars shit, it was the same kind of deal. Can it give you a little push, a little energy? Maybe. But if you don't fuck with it now, why would you look at it and say this is something I want to fuck with? I don't know. I don't know if that would be something I would look at and really want to fuck with. So, weather weapons been out since Vietnam, even before in the 50s. My favorite era of basketball, I'll say probably the 70s. I really loved the 70s basketball. Wasn't as big. The summer leagues was full of the pros coming home, going to the Rucker, coming to Michigan playing. I really liked that. I would say I didn't like the 60s because it was so slanted to the Celtics and humiliating Wilt. That was what the 60s was about, humiliating Wilt. They only gave Wilt one in the 60s and one in the 70s. He didn't win in college. So I love the 70s basketball. I love the Magic era. What is that? Started from 79 until I did. I love when Mike came in the league. I did. I think what the thing that Magic and Bird did is they put passing back into the game. And the thing why I say I love 70s basketball, because 70s basketball was probably the most efficient time ever. Like when the league became all mostly brothers, you saw some of the most efficient balls. You didn't see a lot of team ball, but whoever got the ball scored. That was an era where the early 70s was the era whoever got it did score. So you got Bird and Magic coming in, changing that, where it became more passing. Magic got dudes running and stuff. That had kind of broke away. Because, again, with Tiny Archibald, he was a storm being able to just be so quick. He was so much quicker that, once there was nobody in the league that could cover him. So it was the most efficient type of basketball, though, where whoever got it was going to score. And that's before they had the main manipulation system in that we see others. Jordan benefited from the shrug game, so mine is the tens. Okay. Anything that affects food is not a good idea. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I just threw away a bunch of 3-year-old food, beans and shit. It's, why carry it? People say 70 basketball was the darkest time because of the NBA, because of TV deals. Yeah, they wasn't showing it. When it became dominated by brothers, they quit showing it. Again, Magic's championship game was on tape delay. So every championship game was on tape delay. If you like when Magic, I knew that they beat them because we heard it on the radio, and then they came on TV like 11:30 at night on the East Coast. A game that had already been over, but that's how we had to watch it, tape delay. So it wasn't until Magic won that first title that they got the better contract, and they started showing them live again. But up to that point, tape delay. I want to say when Magic went in '83. No, but 78, probably 77 titles, 78, 79. Them was all tape delay titles, if I remember right. Yeah. Yep. But dudes could hoop. I mean, dudes could really hoop. And it was other dudes dunking. It wasn't just Dr. J. So, NFL season coming up. Who is the best linebacker in history? Well, probably Lawrence Taylor and Dick Butkus. Dick's career wasn't quite as long, but Lawrence Taylor changed the game. I mean, Washington put that H back in there just to double team him. And he was like Deacon Jones, but at linebacker. Because he went to Carolina. He was a senior, I think, when I was a freshman. So I went on campus. I saw him down there at Carolina. But, he was so dominant that they put that cocaine around him to tear him down. And he's the reason why the NFL has weak unions. You can blame him and Joe Montana. They crossed the picket line because he a dope fiend and needed the money. Joe Montana just was about Joe Montana. They threw some more bread at Joe Montana so he could cross the picket line. That's why their union is the weakest, even though their sports generates the most money. They generate the most money. What time is it? Because I know I ain't staying up all night tonight. Ray Lewis. Do we put Ray Lewis over Butkus? I don't know if we put Ray Lewis over Butkus. If I had to go middle linebackers, I'd go Butkus before Ray Lewis. Matter of fact, would Ray Lewis be over Nitschke? Would he be over Nitschke? Let me see. Nitschke won 2 Super Bowls and 4 NFL titles. Ray Lewis won what? 2 Super Bowls? So I don't even know if Lewis is over Ray Nitschke. And Lewis really was strong safety size. He was undersized middle linebacker. Yeah, I remember the tape delays there. I never understood why. Yeah, they did it because they didn't have the contracts. The networks put the NBA off TV other than Saturday games. That's the only thing they did kept. But when the playoffs came, that shit tape delay. Yeah, because it was the brothers. It beat the brothers. And then, they gave Larry Bird his title in 80. Of course, Larry Bird's wasn't tape delayed when they won it in 80, but it was in 79. And you see they set it up for Larry Bird to be in it. It's shown all over. But it put butts in the seats, though. That's what Larry Bird was responsible for. They had their Messiah. They had the European Messiah that put butts in the seats. And Magic with his coon smiling. That's a coon smiler, Magic. As much as he was a coon smiler, coon smiler. Because you know that used to be frowned upon. Cheesing on the camera was frowned upon. If people remember that. And Magic, like I know I just gave my cousin Marcus Muhammad praise, but I'm gonna say this. I talked about them with Whirlpool and Breaking Ground. He's with Whitmer. He's with Big Gretch. He's with Big Gretch. Come on. That's called cooning. Cooning for the camera. because you were Big Gretch. Yeah. Sale, 20 years. Sale. I put Ray Lewis over Sale. I put Ray Lewis over Sale. Yeah. Definitely Ray Lewis over Sale. I put Ray Nitschke definitely over Sale. And Veracity is Buckus. Buckus never won nothing, but Veracity, there was no one at the middle linebacker position that brought to the game what he brought. The fiercity of hitting what he brought. There's one of him hitting Charlie Sanders. Like there's one play where he hit this one dude twice. Like the dude jumps and Buckus like hits him in the air, and then Buckus tackles him again as they go into the ground. So he hits him in the air, and then he hits him tackling him down. He hit this dude twice. But ferocity, range, yeah, Buckus was hard to deal with. Buckus was hard to deal with. That's why when I was saying the North Dallas 40 play of where one dude block you high and the other one come tear your knee up, he was a victim of that. They tore his knees up. They hurt him like they hurt Gale Sayers. That was their answer to slow Buckus down, was hurting him. Just like they did Gale Sayers. Couldn't slow him down, so they hurt him. That's the thing in the NFL. NHL's coming back to ESPN in 20 years. I got the extra package. Is it ESPN? Okay. Singletary. I would put Singletary over Ray Lewis. Yeah. I would put Singletary over Ray Lewis, but do we put Singletary over? There's only one football player I ever saw in my life that scared me. He went to Kent State, and he later played with the Steelers. I'm saying Jack Ham. It ain't Jack Ham. His name will come to me. But I put that dude. That dude won 4 Super Bowls at middle linebacker. So he's over Singletary, but I put Singletary over Ray Lewis, definitely. I don't put Singletary over Ray Nitschke either. Not in the middle. Not playing middle, true middle linebacker. I would put Buckus. I would put Nitschke, and maybe Ray Lewis there. Yeah, maybe Ray Lewis 3rd or 4th. So what's his name? Not Ham. I can't think of his name. But I remember seeing him in college. He scared me. I saw him in the hallway. I'm like, he was the only football player that ever scared me. Maybe I can look this up. Pittsburgh Steelers linebackers in the Hall of Fame. Yes, Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert scared me. That was the only football player I ever saw in my life that scared me, was Jack Lambert. I saw him. He went to Kent State. He was playing Western Michigan. And for some reason, I was sitting on the visitor side. And, when you go out to the field, you walk through the crowd. And it was like a certain part where it seemed like it was just him and me standing. And I remember he was missing his front teeth. And that guy looked at me, and I looked at all that equipment. I was like, damn, this dude looked like he gonna tackle me in the hallway. I ain't even playing. He was the only football player that ever scared me. And I've been on every level. And that dude scared me. I've been to camps. No one scared me like Jack Lambert. That's why in my mind, I was like, I hope he retire. If I make the NFL, I hope that dude retire, because I'm scared of that dude. Lakers caught up in the championship because Boston is a racist city. Celtics can't attract stars. That's a good point. Ray had a good team. Sale, yeah, that's good. Sale was faster than Lewis and bigger size. Oh yeah, but Lawrence Taylor played on the outside, so it's really hard to compare outside edge rushers compared to the middle. So we're talking about Lawrence Taylor played. He would play the robber or the Sam. Let me see. Sam, Mike. So Lawrence Taylor would be more of the Mike strong side rusher. He would have been the strong side rusher. And so we got to look at who was weak side, some of the best weak side rushers. Now, if we're just saying pure linebacker, that's kind of unfair because they play different positions. So, but yeah, Jack Lambert scared me. That was the only dude. We had a dude named Frog, 6'8", 325, a sculpture defensive end. He ain't never scared me. Matter of fact, I had broke my hand in a fight, and so I didn't play my last spring. I couldn't play because I had a broken hand. And Frog had got drafted by the Cardinals, got cut. Then he went down to Tampa Bay, and Frog was always one that would always he would always shake your hand really hard. And we hadn't seen each other because he, coming back and forth. So we was somewhere, and I think we ended up going to my house. I can't remember, but I remember he shook my hand hard, and I just blasted him in the chest. Like, damn, Frog, I just broke my hand. He's like, I'm sorry. So here's this dude, 6'8", 325 of cut muscle, and I just fired on him in his chest. Because, I had just broke my hand, and he was just a dude. That was his thing. We just give you hard handshakes. But he's like, I was like, damn, Frog, and I hit him with my hand. He's like, I'm sorry. And I just fired on this dude. I hit him hard as I could hit. And he was just like, I'm sorry. It's like, damn, Frog, I just broke my hand. I like stuck him really quick. And he's like, I'm sorry. And I hit him hard as I could with a broken hand. But, I don't know, Lambert. Ed Reed. I took Ed Reed. I was looking at that today. Reed didn't have as many injury. Palomalo was like what was because Tony had Tony had a strong safety when they won the Super Bowl, but he was one of the best in the league. No, he was a weak safety, free safety, but he was always hurt. Samuels, I forget, I'd have to look him up. But Palomalo was always hurt. And something that, like, I was just talking about my friend saying I was a good athlete. This dude ruptured a kidney, and when you rupture a kidney, they break your sternum. They have to break your sternum. And so at 22, he had a zipper, like an open heart surgery. But he would give his body up. And some dudes just hit too hard. And Palomalo was one of them dudes that hit too hard. And because he hit too hard and gave his body up so much, he was always hurt. So my friend asked me the same question earlier. I was like, yeah, but Palomalo got hurt all the time. He got hurt, and he had a decent team. So yeah, I would take Ed Reed, definitely. Like Atwater, Steve Atwater, 6'4", 6'5". And so we talking about a strong safety that really is playing in the box. Like if you saw Cliff Harris, if anybody saw the Cliff Harris talk, Cliff Harris was one of the first weak safeties that could play up in the box. Kind of like they said with the 46 defense, putting 8 in the box. Cliff Harris could play on the line as a free safety, because usually the strong safety is the one that plays up. The free safety is deep. He was one of the first. Cliff Harris, one of the first free safeties, could play on the line. And if you pitch or anything, he making the tackle. So Ronnie Lott, yeah, Ronnie Lott was so cold. Ronnie Lott shit was like. So Ronnie Lott shit was like this. He broke his finger, and his finger did this. You feel me? He broke his finger, and his finger did like this. Ronnie Lott told him to cut that part off during the game. He told him, because they was going to take him out. He said, fuck that. Cut that shit off. So they cut his finger off. They cut this digit off. He had broke it so bad where he had to go get it taken care of. Surgery put it back together. Instead of doing that during the game, they cut his digit off. You see Ronnie Lott, watch. He's like, you know how the Ukazo will cut your little pinky off? Look at Ronnie Lott. Maybe it ain't his pinky, but he got a short finger. So, yeah, Ronnie Lott, definitely. Ronnie Lott was more of a strong no. Yeah, Ronnie Lott. But it's like, do I put Ronnie Lott over Dick Night Train Lane, who's got the career interceptions record and invented the necktie tackle? So do I put Ronnie Lott over Night Train Lane? I don't think so. Night Train Lane record of the most interceptions season still stand. And he played when they did not have, it wasn't a passing league like we see today where quarterbacks throwing 50, 60 times. He didn't play in that type of league, and his record still ain't broken. His record is from, he retired in the early 60s. In the early 60s, like Dick LeBeau went to Hall of Fame because his first few years was with Night Train Lane. Dick LeBeau played with two other, he played with Lem Barney, that's in the Hall of Fame, and he played with Night Train Lane. So Dick LeBeau had good people. Yeah, Atwater was nice. Rod Woodson. I'll say this. Rod Woodson was one of the first speed safeties where it wasn't nobody. Like even before Deion, I would say, was Woodson. I think Woodson is a little older than Deion. Where Woodson was a track dude that he could guard anybody. He really could guard anybody. So he was one of the safeties there. It wasn't nobody getting by him. So he could cheat a lot because of his speed. See, what you have to understand with a DB and a safety, makeup speed. So in the air, even if he's beat, can he make up that? Because a lot of dudes, that's what they don't understand. Like a receiver be open and think he open, but the safety is closing in on the ball. So the closing speed, I would say Woodson was one of the first that had some of the best closing speed ever. Later, we see that with Deion Sanders, where Deion, they would even throw the ball on his side because his closing speed, like there was no, you couldn't make a mistake when you threw the ball. So if you're throwing on Deion's side, if it's a little off, Deion's getting it. But Wild Wilson was the same way, where that closing speed was probably some of the best ever. So yeah. Who put more on the stretcher? Night Train Lane. Charles Woodson. Wow, how do I put him in there? Wasn't terribly fast, even though he could play receiver. Great closing speed, great tackler. Yeah. Would we put Woodson over Ronnie Lott? Woodson wasn't a big hitter. Ronnie Lott. Woodson couldn't play in the box like Cliff Harris could and like Ronnie Lott could. I would say that would be the only thing about Woodson. Woodson couldn't play in the box. Even as a free safety, he couldn't play in the box. So I would put the better tacklers over there. Closing speed as a safety, people not getting behind him in his early years, yeah, he could run with anybody. Sean Taylor was a ball hawk and could lay the wood on anybody. Sean Taylor was a big dude too. He was a big dude. And that was definitely a human sacrifice. Like, how are you trying to defend your house with a sword? That story doesn't make sense. Like, you defend your house with a fucking gun. I bet more fumbles than Lane. Not more interceptions. Not more interceptions. Charles Woodson over Sherman. Charles Woodson over Sherman. Caesar and sacks. That's a good point. Because he could play the stand-up, play in the box, and that blitzing safety. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Lott. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lott was one of the first. Lott was really, he played a lot of almost 8 technique in though too. They was able to get away with. I mean, they had one of my old homeboys, Pee Wee, that played at A&T, Dwayne Boyd. He had a hell of a lot of people in front of him. Harvey, what's his name, played with Dallas too. That defensive end that's got all the 5 Super Bowls. Well, whatever his name is, not Harvey. It's the wrong name. But yeah, Ronnie Lott could play in the box. Hey, Gray, what's happening? How you doing tonight? Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I can go about 20 more minutes. I got a little one I'm supposed to cook for in the morning. She's like, it's food for her to get. So she's munching on all this stuff. Then I get up because we got woke up. We had a storm last night. Again, I heard an explosion. It didn't sound like thunder. It sounded like an explosion. I've heard explosions. I used to work on the air base. Hell, they was out exploding shit all the time. Shooting them 50 caliber machine guns. That's some fun shit there. That's some fun shit. Shooting shit that go through concrete. Dude was my neighbor, and when we both, he was in the Army, and I had a contract out there, and so when they would shoot, we would get to go out there and shoot with him. He's like, "Go ahead." He showed me how to shoot that motherfucker. That's some fun shit. Watching that concrete just knock them big concrete blocks because they would build a wall, and then you could shoot at the wall, and then 50 calibers is knocking blocks out. You know, you talk about a bullet like that. Reggie White was one of the best ever. But do we put Reggie White over Deacon Jones? Do we put Reggie White over Deacon Jones? I don't know. Because Deacon created the word sack. Deacon, a lot of his games wasn't on film. So they went back. If they would have counted a lot, because a lot of Deacon sacks they didn't count. So do we put Reggie White? But I'll say this. Reggie White was one of the strongest dudes to ever play. You know that rip move where he could just hit a dude and just rip him down? Yeah. Because he said he copied that from Howie Long. But, I mean, Reggie White was strong. I was talking about that today. When I got the scholarship to A&T, I got a walk-on. I could have walked on at Western Michigan University. I could have walked on at Tennessee. And Reggie White was at Tennessee. And I didn't know about, a lot of the loans I couldn't get because my parents made too much money. So I couldn't get a lot of the grants. I didn't know about work study. I don't even think I could have got a Pell Grant at the time. We talking about 79. So it would have cost, my family couldn't afford to send me back then. So A&T was free. Thanks for your lecture. Oh, no problem. Sports is the kind of thing. And I'm not ignoring you, Mr. Jeffrey. Jerry Rice or Randy Moss? Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice. Definitely Jerry Rice. Randy Moss didn't run good routes. Randy Moss was a 9 go route guy. He didn't run crisp routes where Jerry Rice did. I mean, Jerry Rice, I played against Jerry Rice. He was a freshman when I was a junior, and just watching his route running close up. I think he scored a touchdown against us. But even his career, his routes was crispy. Like that Super Bowl where they beat Denver, watch his route running. And watch where I think he got a touchdown in the fourth quarter where he had to break his route off a little bit because Joe was in trouble. Randy Moss was just pretty a go route dude. Really didn't run crispy routes. Even the season they set the record with Brady, look at a lot of them catches. A lot of them is go routes. So not a good pass runner. Now, yeah, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice gets that one. No doubt. Mixed with what? Mixed with what? I'm not ignoring you, True Gematria. I'm sorry. I didn't see your question. True Gematria. Let me see what you ask. I'm sorry. Am I mixed with what? My birth certificate says colored, baby. It says my father is colored and my mother. Every shot would have to go in. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, how can videos with 280p recording prove rigged sports? Oh, you're that troll. Okay. Gematria is clearly used for matchmaking, but to say every shot hit or miss in NBA is scripted doesn't make sense. I never said that every shot. Oh, you the troll. I remember you being the troll. I remember that. You the one troll. Okay, you back? Okay. I do want to smoke. And I never said every shot. Never said every shot. But I'm saying certain shots that fit the agenda of the game, they manipulate. And I've showed on my video, regardless of the quality, it's better than the 1970 quality. And I showed Jerry West shot from 1970, 71. And on my other channel, before I got it taken away, I showed the shot that started it all with basket manipulation, which was Don Nelson's shot. So it is clearly shown whichever is shown in, it clearly shows it. Because the thing is, you know what the thing is, True Gematria? The thing is this, it's others that better my work that's out there. And I don't mind that they copied my work word for word almost. That's okay. But they're better editors than me. And they've proven my work. And so I clap for them. I clap for them because find their videos. Draco Tunes shows my work better. He does better editing. So look at his work. And this one more dude, and I wish I knew his name because he's a great editor too. Oh, so I thought you was mixed. No, both of my parents, it says colored. Because I remember you, True Gematria, but okay, you can ask. That's cool. No, every shot, I never said that. I never said every shot is manipulated. I'm saying during certain points of the game, and depending on the person, there's a high percentage of their shots that are manipulated, especially when it's for the money. So, and I'm not mad at you, but the way you stated your question remind me of somebody else that used to troll me. So that's why I think you are. But if you're not, thank you for joining me. Yeah, every shot's not. No, he's all right. Let him go. Let him go. We're going to let him. That's okay. I ain't mad at him. David Blaine works with the NBA. There you go. Jerry West didn't play in basket manipulation era. He did the Lakers would have beat Bill Russell. No. That's wrong. No. Look at 1969. CWE. Look at 1969. Look at when Will Chamberlain goes to the bench. And Alex Hanna doesn't put him back in the game. Maybe it wasn't Hanna. It wasn't Ramsey. It wasn't Ramsey because they won with Ramsey. But look at 1969 season. Look at Don Nelson's shot. That's the first manipulated shot in the history of the league. Was Don Nelson's shot. We see the high bounce and then bringing it back in. And then Jerry West shot Jerry West damn near shot it from the key of the other basket. Jerry West shot was the second manipulated shot. Definitely. And then we see the Georgetown game of 1987, Georgetown and Villanova. Villanova shoots 71% from the field. Michael Jordan shrug game, all manipulated. So, yeah, Draco Tombs. Draco Tomb. Looking Draco Tomb. Yep. Are all Native American Moors? I don't know, Tyrone. I don't know. I like PNF's information. I think some ways it lacks. He doesn't look at some totalities. But I keep my mind open so I can understand it, because if I have an opinion, I'm not hearing what he's saying. So I try to listen to it without opinion. But there's some things that I know don't match up. So I don't, from my studies, I say no. Now, where we agree, and this is what you have to agree on, there was no Bering Straits bringing anybody. That's some bullshit they made up. Most of what you call native people came from Canada and came down. That's what we see, like Blackhawks, Blackfoot especially, because we've got Blackfeet, Blackfoot. There's a couple different tribes, but Blackfoot especially, these are groups that came down from Canada and then settled in the plains. That's why you got the teepees and such. We know that the Chinese came to the coast of South America. We know that the Chinese came to the coast of America. So when you see Macetos that appear to look more Chinese, they had been here for years. Now, my people up in the Boston area, again, we go from Nova Scotia, Iceland, Greenland, and all the way over into Europe. So Turtle Gang does a very good documentary showing this, where we knew about the world. We knew about the coast of America. Hell, the Winnepockins was fucking whalers. They's whaling with damn near big canoes, but hunting whales. So they went up and down the coast. So the idea, because I know Turtle Gang, people giving him shit about the Lenape, but what he made a point, and what you have to understand in history is it was always movement. Always movement. Just like the Sapani and the Catawba went into the Ohio Valley. This was part of the Sioux lands as well. And they would go into the Ohio Valley where the mounds area are, and they would worship in those areas, and they would live in those areas for years. And then they would go back to North Carolina. So this idea that these big cities were just all the time in one place isn't necessarily true. These tribes would move. There are. I know I lost sound. I hit the mic. That's why I got to get a new computer too, because looks like I should be back on now. Let me know when it comes on. I'll wait. Looks like it popped back in though. I reset it. Highest belt in karate is black. Highest belt in karate is black. And that's not necessarily true, because you can get a red belt. That's a grandmaster. Steven Seagal is one of the few red belts. Just went and checked out that food, Draco Tunes. Okay. He said gematria isn't real. Well, that's on him. Thank you. Gematria is nothing more than gemancy. They're basically one of the same practices. Gematria is a divination. As I said before, well, when it comes to rigging games, yeah, it's definitely about the money. Omen. Yeah, the omen were on both sides on the Pacific coast, because if you go to the Selsby auction house, it don't even say Omen anymore. It says Pacifica, I think they call it, which they're talking about on the Pacific side, which is all Omen still. They were on both sides. You find Omen all up and down South America and Mexico, all the way down to Belize. But again, gemancy is a divination, and so is gematria. Gematria is under divination. This book is about divination by earth. It is a book of art of gemancy. The New English Dictionary defines gematria a divination by means of lines, figures, or dots on the earth or on paper, or by particles of earth cast on the ground. The word is derived from two words, yasha, gia, or gi, meaning earth, and mantia, meaning divination. The techniques are many and varied, although in popular accounts, these include the inspection of random configurations made by scattered pebbles or the manipulation of handfuls of earth, rather like tea reading. In practice, gematria is a lot more structured, the casting of palm nuts. Divination gematria has its roots in Arabia, Africa, Ifa and Fa is part of it. Gematria has come to be one of the 3 or 4 great European methods of divination. The tarot or astrology is also the most easily apprehended of the 4 theoretical element modes of divination. Promancy, divination by fire, hydromancy by water, aeromancy by air, and gemancy by earth. Now, and let me show you right here. Right here. This is pretty much the Sisters of the Judge. So you know when y'all have the multi-ciphers, it's the same thing. But this is what to me is better than gematria. Is you have an idea. These are worlds. These are your idea in living worlds. Gematria can't do that. Gematria really can't do that. The gematria can't make your world live. And so you have your idea, and your idea goes into these worlds, and it's practically used in a world. And then it gets defined. These worlds are most likely. So it lives in these worlds. And then it goes to these worlds. And then this is your outcome. Gematria can't do that. Gematria can't do that. But what it's like is when you say that you got 5 or 6 different ciphers and one matches another word. That's subjective. That's subjective. That's very subjective. So that is not real. It's a practice. It's a practice. Yeah, the manipulation didn't come in until 69. They just cheated with the Celtics and point shaved. That was a lot of what they did, is point shaved and cheated. Let me see. So I don't know if y'all are into Skinner. Skinner got some deep books. Where's the other one? Where is it? Oh, damn. I only picked up the one. I didn't pick up, well, maybe right here. Oh, there it is. Somebody asked me for just code books. Jumanji is one. And here's another one. Now, I'm not saying all his work, but definitely this is a pretty decent book on how to get into awareness. Not all his works. It's coming some of the stuff, but this is a pretty good one too. But Skinner got a bunch of books. So depending on where you want to go with it. So that's my thing is gematria is subjective. So this is my thing is this is the difference is use only one cipher. 1 or 2, use only them. Now it's like 30 ciphers you can use to find matches. So, and not saying it's not useful, not saying that, but I'm saying it's very subjective when if I say love and I say hate, and then the only number out of 30 ciphers is English ordinal. I mean, it's subjective. It's very subjective. Yeah, it's very subjective. Exactly. Gematria can predict some things. Yeah, some things. Yeah, you can. What they're showing is patterns. But my point is, if you like even like I'm showing you with that, you have 7 or 8 worlds you can put it in, and it's not even putting it in world. It's just saying these numbers match here and these numbers match here. To make it non-subjective, you only have one cipher. And if you have the same cipher matches, then that's not subjective. You can say, wow, okay, that works. But when you're saying out of 5 or 6 or 8 ciphers, you've got a match out of one match out of each, that those are the same. I mean, that's very subjective. And you could almost say coincidental. You can't. I'm not against it, but I'm saying you can't say that's the whole story, and that's my problem with Zach. He thinks that's the only way, and he works for them peoples. Zach works for them peoples. He chose a side, and that's all right. That's all right. They watched the gematria. I think they watched my work and flipped the script. Like I was saying, I called Zach Giddy, and then I see a chick on CNN using Giddy when I ain't in 60 years ever heard Giddy spoke by any news people listening. Just like this lucid living, copying my awareness community. They copy the shit all the time. They have somebody's info. Sometimes you get 2 or 3 matches. I feel that. Right. No, he's not always right. I agree. But what I'm saying is it's very subjective. And it ain't the only way. That's what I'm saying. It's not the only way. Zach talks like that's the only way. Like Zach says, have blinders on to the rest of the world. Only look at the gematria ciphers and don't look outside the blinders of gematria. That's silly. That's limiting you. If you put all your eggs in a gematria basket, you being misled. There's more to the story. That's misleading people. How is gematria used to script sports? I don't understand its use. It's a ritual they do with those likes to attract certain reality. No, this is the point. As a divination, gematria ain't no different than this. It ain't no different. It's a divination. This is a divination-based thing. Now, again, you must then listen to me. You must then listen, so I'll do it again. I'm going to do it again, and I'll go slow. This is why this system is better than gematria. You have something going on. You have a story. You want to know the answer. You have all these boxes to ask questions. Well, all these boxes in reality are worlds. So you put the question in all these different worlds. And then the ones that get filtered out go to these 4. You ask the question again. Your question lives in worlds, not just ciphers. They get filtered down to these final 2. A real world. And then you come to the answer in the final 1. Now, gematria can't do that. As a divination, it can't do that. It picks together patterns. That's what Zach shows us, patterns. He's saying that these out of these 30 ciphers, we see these patterns. So, no, I didn't say it's the way they script sports. No, but I'm saying as a divination, that's a way too. Pendulum is another thing. A pendulum is a divination. Pendulum can give you yes, no, maybe. Now, it's limited, but there's more uses than yes, no, or maybe. You lose shit. You can't use gematria to find shit. I can take this pendulum and ask this pendulum where I lose some shit. Where did I lose something at? I need to super glue it. And I can take this pendulum will show me where I lost some shit. Can't do that. It's no practical way gematria can affect that. This pendulum can tell me where water's at. It can be like a divining rod. Divining rods is divinations. They didn't use gematria to get on the land and try to find where the water at. They use divining rods and they use pendulums. So for practical, this is more practical, but it ain't the final answer is my point. It's not the final answer. There's a lot of answers. That's my point. Could be. I see that point. Millions of Republicans boycotting because of him. It is scripted, Caesar, no doubt. It's all connected, numbers, astrology. Again, yes. And you can get deep with astrology, sigils. I mean, you can really get deep in this stuff. So my thing is, and where where people that follow Zach don't understand. That's not the end all be all. That's not it. It's everything. Everything. So you look at what he puts out, you look at these other systems, and you put them all together so you have a greater understanding of the whole story. Because again, because of the different ciphers, it's subjective. Because again, if this was so precise, you'd only have one cipher. You'd have one cipher, and if these words match this one cipher, then you go with it. But no, they've opened up to 30 ciphers. I think Derek, I'm probably capping a little bit. I think Derek has 15 to 20 ciphers. Well, let's look at it. Why just talk shit? Let's look at it. And I'll show you how many ciphers Derek has. Because he still use Derek shit. He talks shit about Derek, but he damn sure you still use Derek shit. And I'm probably going to have to erase this one because it won't do anything on mine. Where is the shit? Haven't used it in so long. Might not be on here though. Oh, here, right here. I'll tell you how many ciphers they got. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30 ciphers. 30 ciphers. So it's subjective. And until you can just say one cipher, and in this one cipher, all this shit match, that ain't subjective. That's like, okay, this is a greater pattern. It's like stacking the deck in cards. Yes, you're attracting a certain kind of world. You're actually putting your question into a real world. That's what I'm saying in gematria. When you use that sisters chart, you are actually making your idea live. And that's why it's more practical. So say, should I join this person in business? You put that into that thing. It lives. It's going to have those 5 or 6 real living ideas of, it's not, you put this in, it ain't like you just putting a thing in. You are making your idea live. So it is going to actual worlds. I mean, this is how deep you can make it be. It goes to these worlds, and through it going through this world, it filters to the greatest probability of what of your idea actually in a living, and not just the question, not just matches. It's actually living the idea. Bucks versus Bucks. I completely get what you're saying, but is there somewhere I can look on to understand how gematria is used, like what is used for specifically? I mean, Skinner's book. This book is very good. This book is very good. If you want to understand how they use it and the different people that use it, this book is great for that. And this shows how you can practically use it. Because this ain't the other chart. There's several charts that you actually can use gematria in. This is another type of chart that goes by the zodiac. Somebody asked the zodiac. There's ways that you can put this into living ways into the zodiac. So this book is very thorough in that regard. But it ain't the whole story, is my point. My point is you gotta keep your mouth, like I was saying about PNN. I can't say out of hand that everything he's saying I disagree with, because I keep my mind open to absorb what he's saying. And then I have to compare it to what I've learned and what I know, and then say, okay, yay, nay. But I keep my mind in the same way. I was one of the first or second to talk on Zach's show that started, 15? I used to talk on his show every week when he first started. And I just don't go on it anymore because I talk so much on here. I go 2 hours on here. So, it's tool for attracting certain outcomes by inserting questions. Absolutely. Yeah. Being different, coexisting realities. Exactly. Yeah. Zach says 6'6" mean LeBron going 6'6". Could be. But I think, my thing is, I think Zach chose a side. He worked for them peoples. Because it ain't the army. And Black Widow makes me think it is one king. Black Widow makes me think that. Because them peoples like kings. What do they say? They don't believe in Jesus because they're waiting for their own Messiah. Again, they want a king. And so they have it. They have it. They have it. I mean, hell, you look at the thing and they get to talking about the anti. That shit's been out here. And then I've said before, West Panary say that Marduk was still around in 2008. And we know the all-seeing eye used the way they use it is Marduk or Yabatha, however you want to put it. Some people even call it, I think Jeffrey Lane mentions the Demerge. It's got a bunch of names. But them peoples use that. And Zach worked for them people. He chose a side. So he said the Jesuits, which he admitted. And I'll say this in his favor. Zach said that some of them peoples was Jesuits too. Almost all of them was. And that's why I bring up Isabella. Because Isabella and Hitler, the only one that went to war against them peoples. Yeah, that Zach, yeah, exactly. Zach making six figures off this shit. Them peoples, true. What do you mean by them peoples? I'm always confused when you say that. Can you hint at it? Them peoples, that's all I'm gonna say is them peoples. Them peoples that wear the little hats and them peoples that go to the Roman fort wall. They ain't had nothing to do with Solomon. That's the Roman retaining wall. Them peoples that go to that wall and that's to Rome. These is Babylonians. That's really what they are. They Babylonian. That's what they worship is they try to be Babylonians. That's why they at the retaining wall, that ain't got nothing to do with their religion. It's a Roman retaining wall. They know it. The history's out there to tell you what that is. So that's who them peoples is. I don't know what's going on right now anymore. I am in terms of who owns that. Yeah. But again, what's his name? Killer Priest had him on. Jordan Crawford, maybe is his name. I hear him saying Jesuits and he worked with Stinson. And I'm like, So, that's the army. Gray, them peoples is true. That's right. That Honey Hats. They literally deleted his channel. They deleted my channel. They deleted my channel. January 3rd. January 3rd, they deleted my other channel with over 3,000 videos from probably my first videos was probably 16. Because first they deleted first they deleted my videos from 15, 16. No, 16. And then TalkShoe deleted all my 17 videos. TalkShoe, I think they deleted all my videos all my shows from 16 and 17. And so it starts back at 18. But yeah, over 3,000 plus videos. So all roads lead to Rome. And Rome tells you what is them peoples in Rome. Research what that land was before they took it over. Research that land. It ain't had nothing to do with Peter. Peter never existed. It had nothing to do with that. And they don't believe in Peter anyway. Or the peoples don't, but they fake. I mean, it's Macetos, conversos. That's what it is. It's conversos. Because Isabella was going after their ass. That's why they don't like hearing about Inquisition. You don't hear when they talk about Inquisition, it's not compared to Hitler shit, is it? I'm gonna say that again. When they talk about Inquisition, it ain't compared to what supposedly Hitler did, is it? Something totally different. And you got all these people was either you join us or we running over you. What did Bean say? Get down or lay down. And that's how Isabella did them. Get down or lay down. And so you had a lot of them joining. And a lot of them end up going into the Catholic Church. And they found out it was an easy way of control. An easier way of control by being Catholics. But they put it all in there. Look at all that stuff in there. They're pretending to be Catholic. Why do you think Christians and Catholics ain't the same? A Christian ain't a Catholic. Not really. They say the Catholics is idol worshipers. Ain't that what's the difference between a Christian and a Catholic? They ain't really the same. Yeah, Reese, censorship is out of control. I couldn't believe they snatched. Yeah, and I was talking about a conversation I had with my doctor. That's all I was talking about, what my doctor told me. And then just like I'm talking now, in the middle of it, they just wiped it all. No strikes, no warnings, none of nothing. I had zero strikes when they took my channel down. Zero strikes. And I know it's got something to do with the demos coming in power too. Because the demos was in power when they took it down. So my content didn't change up until 20. And then 3 days in, all of a sudden, the censorship. And most of my stuff is sports talking anyway. Like tonight, I just last 20 minutes started talking about this. Most of my content is sports talk, history talk. So 3 city states, Washington, London, and Rome. Yeah, I've said this. Bed-Stuy, Bed-Stuy. Ton of people making gematria videos, data productions, media. Okay. Chocolate Mountain, dude. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in anything. True gematria, I don't believe in anything. I know. I know. So I have no beliefs. Then people will make you join by fucking you up your money. That's a good point. That's a good point. They definitely will. They'll try to fuck up your career, make you come to them. They the ones who want to put people in the dress. Who you think people putting people in the dress? Them peoples. They's the one that want to humiliate brothers by putting them in the dress. It ain't the Catholics. It ain't the Jesuits. It ain't Christians. It's them peoples. They want to put you in the dress. Charles Barkley put on the dress. And don't be fooled by David Chappelle. So did David Chappelle. Just watch Robin Hood Men in Tights. We saw Kevin Hart on fucking Saturday Night Live with a dress on. Kenan Thompson, dress. Peel, what's my homeboy named Peel and the other dude? Both of them wore dresses in their show after they took over David Chappelle's show. Something and Peel, them two dudes. The dude that wrote Get Out, both of them wore dresses in their skits. You tell me where that's Jesuits making them wear dresses. Jesuits don't control Hollywood. Last time I checked, MGM stands for Metro Goodwin and Meyer. That sound like Catholic people, y'all? Metro Goodwin and Meyer. Kay and Peele, constantly wearing dresses and skits. So, Young Thug, there you go. James Bond wore a dress. I'm sorry, that was a mistake. I'm at the gym. That's okay. Well, I didn't see what you wrote. Like, do you believe? I don't believe in anything. I know. I know. I don't talk about shit I don't know. I know. And I'm full of awareness. That's the thing. I'm aware of all this stuff on every level. I mean, spiritually wise, that's why it's funny. I hear Bomber talking, and I'm like, shit, he ain't no further wrong than I am. He just got a better hustle. But he ain't spiritually, he ain't further along than me. I'm hearing him say shit. I'm like, I'm going through that shit too. And I know this lucid living TV chick, she said some stuff that I shared. Like what she said about origami is perfectly on point. And when I mentioned that, I said, that's what she said is right. Origami ain't like a regular crystal. That shit will not let you go in and stay with you. Like I say, when I go in and he goes with me, he ain't going to fall apart. This obsidian skull is going to go hang with me. You take that origami, it ain't going to make it. And some people think they can take it that deep. You can't take that stuff. As far as using origami just for your atmosphere, that's cool. It's like saying this salt lamp. I'm gonna take this salt lamp with me. That ain't what it's for. Salt lamp is sending out negative ions to fight the positive ions coming from the technology. That's what they're here for. And you add sugite to that, it double fights it. So it's having the proper tools to your spiritual goals. Pay me in shekels. For timing them out. I was apologizing. Oh, okay. If you feel that they being disrespectful, you doing your job. I appreciate it. So that's all right. That's all. But I could tell the way he came in. There was a dude used to troll me on the other channel, and he said the same thing, talking about the quality of the thing, quality of the videos. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. The point is shown. It ain't like the shit is like my shit. The quality is from the 1980s. It's clearer than that. You can see the bounce, 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 or you can see the roll. So that's all right. So don't you did your job, Valerie. Nothing to apologize for. Nothing to apologize. So, well, I think this is probably long enough. Thank you, everybody. I'm not going to be on tonight or tomorrow. I'm not going to be on tomorrow, Sunday or Monday morning. I'm probably going to get some rest because my daughter complaining me sleeping till noon because I stay up till 4, then I go to bed about 4. She's like, I want lunch, and that's the last thing I want to hear is I want lunch when I get up. But I don't mind being questioned about the stuff. That's okay. I like different opinions. That's all. I don't mind different opinions. But the way I try to show everybody is look at everything. Don't just put blinders on. Don't follow one thing and say, this is the only way, because that ain't telling the whole story. The story is huge, and you want the whole story. You just don't want a part of it. You don't want a part of it. You want the whole story. There ain't just one way. You got to use a bunch of ways to fuck with this shit. That's my point. This thing comes at you a bunch of different ways. So you got to have a bunch of different ways to fuck with it. That's the point. And if you lock yourself into only one way, you're missing a whole lot. So as you just keep researching, you keep feeding your mind, feeding your intellect, digging, getting these kind of books, going into libraries that had this kind of stuff. That's why I'm in a university town. And I can get old books. Look at this stuff. Research. And find things that work for you. Not what worked for somebody else. There's more than one way for spirituality. There ain't just one way. You gotta have a like when you take when you take the card of the food. I don't know how quick I'm gonna find it, but if you take the card of the food, see, when the fool comes at you, he confident, but yet he ain't learned yet. And some tarots show the fool having a bag. And so you put the shit in your bag. And so if gematria helps you in your path, that would be something in your bag. But we all start off as the fool. But do you see how confident the fool is? And the other tarot, the fool got a bag. And that's an old 80s thing, that ain't my bag. If you ain't into something, that ain't my bag. That's what they used to say in the 60s. That ain't my bag. James Brown say, Papa got a brand new bag. And I bring my skull out because when I go in, I carry my bag because I want everything with me. And I just noticed that the skull just comes. When I leave my body, the skull comes with me. He's one of my guides. And I won't lie and say that this skull, some of my other skulls have talked to me, not this one. This one just there. He's just there. He guides me. My other skulls will talk. Tell me their names. He ain't never told me his name. He's my second skull, maybe. This skull ordered itself to me. I ain't ordered this skull. I just didn't notice, and it was too late to send it back. And then I was like, oh, this shit is the bomb. And so my thing is as much as you can put in your bag, that's the spiritual win. So don't limit your bag, is my point. Don't limit your bag. All right. Yeah, this is about time to end it now. So thank you guys very much. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'll be back on Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. Thursday morning. I'll be back on Thursday morning. Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, unless I do an afternoon show. So thank you, everybody. Oh, if he calls some names, definitely put him back out. Okay. Who called names? I don't do name calling. I told you it was a mistake. I don't give a damn about your question. Okay. No, we don't have name calling on here. We put people out for that. So if you name calling, you're gonna get put back out. Oh, if he get disrespectful, put his ass back out. So you can't be disrespectful. We ain't gonna have no name calling. So no name calling. Definitely no name calling. So Chris Mathis, what's happening? Chris. Okay, yeah. If he's been disrespectful, then time him out or erase him from seeing the show. Yeah, yeah. So he fucked up, and I think he's a troll anyway. So we ain't tripping off that. Thank you, because I think he's the same troll used to troll me on the other channel. Because the way he came in talking about the quality of my video, I had a troll that did the same thing on my other channel. So he's the same dude that was trolling me from the other channel. So don't feel bad. That's his bad. So thank you all, and as always, I will end with more. And more comes from the Time Walking Papers. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and the lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles and the gray serpent. And as the mind would greet each other, I am another yourself. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Till we meet again.